Welcome to the Write Good Books podcast, the audio companion to WriteGoodBooks.com.
Hello, Scott Michael Childers here. I'm flying solo today. Jason got sick and currently does not have a voice. So recording with him would be somewhat one-sided anyway. So today I'm going to talk about a topic. It's going to be a short podcast today. I really do want to get Jason's point of view on this as well later on. So expect this topic to be revisited. But this should be able to get you started about your own thoughts. And we'd love to hear more about your thoughts on this topic in the comments for this episode. Today I want to talk about money. And no, I'm not talking about the money you will earn as a writer. I'm talking about the money and currency systems in your writing. Whatever world you're creating, if it's a fantasy world or sci-fi world, more than likely the currency and money and trading and bartering system is going to be very different from what we have currently. In fact, even you look at the current currency systems and payment systems, they're changing. We're introducing cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin and the like. So the concept of trade and commerce and economics is something that could add an interesting flavor to your writing if you flesh it out, and also to give it a smack of realism if you do it right. I was reading a draft of a fantasy story and someone was talking about the coin and was describing it at length about how it was gold and encrusted in jewels, and then the guy paying for it would just flick it off like, flipping a coin off of his hand to pay for things. And then I stopped and thought about it. This is a gold coin with lots of jewels, and he's just flinging it like spare change. What does that tell me about the character? What does that tell me about gold and jewels and availability of those? What is this behavior? It's a flippant attitude towards money. It's this piece of coin doesn't mean anything to me. So in the context of the rest of the story, is it trying to show that this person is rich beyond belief? That this gold and jewelry encrusted piece is just not worth anything to him. You just fling it. Or did the writer do something really stupid and make a very pretty thing with no real backing behind it? Because, if it's close to Earth, current day, gold and jewelry, they just have value. It takes effort to get them out of the earth, to polish them up, to cut the gems and so on, and then place it. And so if that was a trinket in our reality, someone wouldn't be flinging it around unless it was just, again, the guy was rich beyond belief. But if this was the everyday coin of the realm, oh my gosh, there's probably so much gold in the earth that they're pulling out that gold is now worthless. Same with gems. This is one of the small things I get when I read a lot of fantasy books talking about these huge palaces covered in gold. Okay, so where's that gold coming from? And at what cost in either trade or bartering or in blood? So what do you do for your economics? And that's something to think about, especially if you're doing extensive world building and are going to go into detail about the coinage. Now, granted, there's some of us that aren't ever going to use that level of detail in our stories, and that's fine. But hold on, there's more coming later in the episode that might be useful to you. But for now, let's stick with this incredibly ridiculous coin. So how do you build around that? Maybe you go into the world. Maybe you have a scene where they're mining the gold. Maybe you go into the mint or the royal jewelry or the treasury or whatnot. Maybe this is a fake. Maybe you set it up and you have someone in story call out, hey, what's this guy doing? He's flinging these coins like it was nothing. And someone tests the coin and finds that the gems are really colored glass and the gold is really just a paint job or something. So it could be an interesting turn of events. Or it could be something where it's a tell. You have a character that's trying to be undercover and goes to the tavern and he pays with the royal coin, as opposed to the type of money that people in this tavern might be used to seeing. So those are some ideas, some things to look at that can help enrich your world or create plot points or create some sort of conflict just with money. Let's take a slightly different tack as well. In that last example, you had someone trying to behave like a commoner and then being shown by using the upper crust type of money. And that's another tactic that can be used to show differences between social classes in a world that you are building. And it's not so far from what has happened in our own history. Money has evolved. Credit has evolved. The way people pay for things has evolved. There are still places where you could barter services for livestock. There are other places where that would just be absolutely not possible. People would not be able to even comprehend the idea of bartering some sort of service for a chicken or a cow. And that's usually based off of urban versus rural, economic status. There are still people who don't trust money. They trust stuff that you can trade and stuff. It's kind of rare. Again, that could be a personality quirk in your story or whatnot. But that is also a way to show there are different classes based on the way on what they use to spend and purchase goods and services. And now we talked fantasy, let's talk something a little bit more future thinking and cryptocurrency, right? Bitcoin. This currency does not have the backing of any government, which makes it an interesting type of thing to look at. Currently, the money system is based off of some government saying our money is worth this. There used to be a thing in the U.S. called the gold standard, where money was based on the value of the gold being held by the government. That was a while ago. It's been, those have been split, and now it's called a fiat, or it is worth this much because we say it's worth this much. That's really oversimplifying. I don't want to get into those type of things today. Talk to an economist, take some college courses maybe. But what makes money worth what it's worth is a governmental process until now, where we have a process of generating value that's not intertwined with any type of government. And so that might be an interesting thing to play on once you go into other things. This is a currency that's valued by the trading and what people are able to buy with it. If you take a look at Bitcoin in the past, you could buy a slice of pizza with a certain amount, and now that same amount is worth millions of dollars. So money and currency, it could be a really interesting type of flavor agent for your story, for your characters. I'm kind of hoping that we can get to a larger or more in-depth discussion with this later on, if you guys want to or have questions about it. And I'm pretty sure Jason might have some comments on this as well. But that is something to think about. If you're going to detail the coin or detail trading or detailing the differences between classes of people, money and economics, and how they feel about it, could be one of those things that adds flavor and also can sometimes break the story or not, if people start thinking about, well, where did that gold come from? So at this point, like I said, this is going to be a short episode, just because Jason's not here again. Stay tuned. Pretty soon we'll have our 2-year anniversary. Still kind of deciding exactly what we want to do with that. We want to thank you for supporting us through these 2 years by listening. If you want to support us even further, feel free to go to our Patreon. Link will be on the webpage. Hit us up in the comments or writegoodbooks.com. And we'll see you.